we have a magician, and the magician is making a show. And in this case, when a professor magician came to our monastery in New Jersey, it was just our mental consciousness, because he was acting like a fool. I got worried, if you remember my story, I got worried that this guy's a jerk and he could actually harm one of the students. Well, when in India the magician would use the mantra TV, 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 the audience's eye consciousness, not just the mental consciousness, but the eye consciousness would actually see the magician's creation. Okay? That's why it says here, in dependence on the eye consciousness, seeing illusory horses and elephants. So that mantra, TV, 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 or TB, 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 depending on how it's pronounced, or Tiwi, 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 depending on how you read the Sanskrit. But also TV, 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 TV. But in dependence on that mantra, the audiences, everyone in the audience would, the eye consciousness itself would see horses and elephants. And as we were saying last time, if we think positively about the horses and elephants can do a lot for plowing fields, and elephants could pick up timbers with their, what do you call them, trunks? Trunk, right? Pick them up and move the timbers from one place to another so that you could build something. So the eye consciousness sees horses and elephants, the horses and elephants that were conjured up by the magician. How does now I'm laboring the points, how does the magician conjure them up? Merely by saying, thinking, TV, 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 TV. I'm trying to see if my powers are such that you begin seeing them. If lamas can give initiations by way of Zoom. Now, I'm not claiming to be a lama, but you never know if something might creep in.
And may I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So
please.
Just with this TV, is there any fault to use the example of TV or a film in the exact same way as the illusory illusion in this context? Would there be any difference?
Oh, I think it would be a good example. I think that would be a good example. Use that the same way. So, two things are going on. The eye consciousness seeing the horses and elephants. So, and the mental consciousness ascertaining the non-existence of those horses and elephants. Not, now notice, it's not seeing them as like illusions or seeing their emptiness, okay? It's seeing the non-existence of them. Non-existence. Because we're in the example. Seeing, the eye consciousness sees the horses and elephants, sees the film, sees the TV, things going on, and the mental consciousness knows the non-existence of these, contrary to last night, my being totally sucked in. I was seeing just my huge, I'll admit it, 65-inch TV screen. That was I realized it was my total. That was it. That wasn't, and I forget what it was. And the mental consciousness ascertaining the non-existence of the horses and elephants. Okay? In accordance with how they appear. That means they appear to be horses and elephants. Remember, quite often we've talked about going into a restaurant and seeing another room. And you think, oh, maybe we should go sit down over there. So you're seeing the existence of another room. And then you come to and you see the non-existence of that other room. It's a, well, what's being talked about here is the existence of another room and the non-existence of another room. The eye consciousness is seeing another room, which constitutes seeing the existence of another room. And the mental consciousness then putting together the non-existence of another room. So when it says up above, illusory horses and elephants, that's just identifying. It's not that you're seeing them as illusory. You're just seeing them, their horses and elephants. Got it? As horses and elephants. The eye consciousness. And the mental consciousness doing something else. Seeing the non-existence of those. So one generates ascertainment. Ascertainment's a really good word. It's just like the Tibetan. Tibetan is ngeba. Ngeba, certitude. Ascertainment. Yeah, it's definite knowing that the appearance of horses and elephants is an illusory or false appearance. Independence on the eye consciousness seeing the horses and elephants, and the mental consciousness ascertaining, independence on that, one generates certitude, ascertainment. This is a certain knowing, a certitude knowing that the appearance of horses and elephants, that means as existing, is an illusory or false appearance. So Tsong-kha-pa himself glosses it illusory or false appearance. Similarly, independence on the two, undeniable, so appearance of persons and so forth. Well, that and so forth, anything and everything except persons, right? You name it. You got it. There ain't nothing that's not included in so forth except persons. Buildings, the typical ones are buildings, homes, mountains, etc., and so forth. Pencils, chairs, walls, thermostats, easels. I'm looking around your room. The tables, computers, no paper in the room. I get a lot of paper on my desk. Oh my gosh. Filling out stuff for taxes. Taxes. All right. So all that's, you could go around and name it, and bring it, not name it, but by naming it, bring it to mind. Bring it all to mind. There'd be stuff you wouldn't want to bring to mind. So pedestrian, you wouldn't want to bring it to mind. Stuff you don't want to think of. And stuff stuck in my throat. Similarly, so that's the example. The example didn't mention anything about inherent existence, right? But it was using existence and non-existence, right? And when you come out of the example into the exemplified, it's going to be different. Undeniable appearance, persons and so forth, to a conventional consciousness. We're not talking about one that's searching for inherent existence. An ascertainment of them by a rational consciousness, rational, reasoning consciousness. I translate this reasoning one. You could translate it as reasoning one. I translate it as rational, just to more easily include when you've stopped reasoning and the pristine wisdom that's realizing emptiness is still called a reasoning consciousness. It's no longer reasoning. So I'm trying to be a little bit tricky and still calling this a rational consciousness, But the word is still the word reasoning. You see, I could translate it as reasoning consciousness, even though it's not that. One even directly realizing emptiness is called a rational consciousness, reasoning consciousness, even though it's no longer reasoning. Going through reasoning. Or you can call it a rational consciousness and try to be a little bit tricky and say, well, and not try to raise the issue of whether it's reasoning or not. And I don't usually use those tricky words. So rational is one of my tricky words. I don't like doing that. A lot of translators use those tricky words. And I don't like to put myself in that class, but I've put myself in this class by calling it rational but not reason, in order to get out of the faults of saying reasoning. And then, blah, blah. An ascertainment of them by a reasoning consciousness as empty of an inherent nature. What does inherent nature mean? Tsong-kha-pa himself glosses it as establishment by way of their own nature. Then, in dependence on those two, one generates ascertainment of persons, those as illusory or false appearances. So instead of the existence and non-existence, where here it's appearance. Tsong-kha-pa doesn't specify the appearance of those, the undeniable, how they appear to a conventional consciousness. To a conventional consciousness. So we should add in brackets, as inherently existent, because that's taken for granted when he says and empty of an inherent nature. That empty of inherent nature means undeniable. You have to carry that over to the earlier part. So a better translation would put undeniable appearance of persons and so forth to a conventional consciousness, and add bracket, open bracket, as inherently existent, close bracket, to a conventional consciousness, open bracket, as inherently existent, close bracket. And he'll make this point clearer at the end when he says, okay, I'm going to tell you in how to do this. So as Khyentse Ngawang used to say, in the example, the horses and elephants appear to exist but do not exist. In the exemplified, these phenomena, oneself and other things, appear to inherently exist but do not inherently exist. So then, due to this essential, when in meditative equipoise, meditation on space-like emptiness, and then Tsong-kha-pa glosses space-like emptiness. What is space-like emptiness? The non-existence of the target aimed at by the apprehension of signs. What is apprehension? What does signs mean? Inherent existence. Not even a particle, non-existence of the target. Non-existence of the target, not even a particle of it, not even a whiff of it, not even a bit of it, not any of it at all. Not half of it on the object side and half of it on the subject side. Not a little bit of it over there and a little bit of it contributed from the subject side, like the autonomous. This is called a shared mode of abiding. Shared, half from the object side, half from the subject side. Tumoe Duluk, a shared mode of abiding. I was drawn into, oh God, I don't know if I should admit it, drawn into trying to finish up Giant Sheba's chapter on the autonomy school, which is a big undertaking to try to finish it. Which involves hunting down a lot of things. And I finally found out where this shared mode of abiding comes from. Common mode of abiding. Shared common. Shared with what? Subject and object. From the object side, from the subject side. As the Loling Kinsur, the abbot emeritus of Loseling, Kinsur Yeshe Tukten, not Tukten Yeshe, who was not from Loseling anyway, Kinsur Yeshe Tukten, said he put, this is really dramatic teaching, he put the mind-only school on the side of the object. You would think mind-only would be on the side of the subject. He put mind-only on the side of the object because they say that the object is established by way of its own character. So this is, a great mind solely thinking about establishment by way of its own character. So he put the mind-only school on the side of the object. Then he put the autonomy school half-half. Half on the side of the object, half on the side of the object, half on the side of the subject. And then he put the consequence school entirely on the side of the subject. Because everything is only imputed by conceptuality. It was really dramatic. And that's the problem, that you say, well, how can that be? Then you can make up whatever you want. You can say, I have gold, and I'll have gold. Which, of course, is a problem that is dealt with in any and all Buddhist schools. no matter how, it's obvious in the world. If you can't have gold just by thinking gold. Okay, then, due to this essential, I called it a fact the first way around, but the general translation is in the house system is due to this essential. When in meditative equipoise, meditation, and you go down to the end for the rest of the sentence, meditation has become successful. In the earlier translation, I made it one has become successful. I put the person in there. But really the sentence, Tsong-kha-pa's sentence is, when in meditative equipoise, maybe the commas would help. When in meditative equipoise. I'll try that. When, comma, in meditative equipoise, comma, meditation, you see at the end, has become successful. So the stuff in the middle, the words in the middle, are all describing what sort of meditation it is. Meditation on space-like emptiness. So it took me a while to get back to this, right? And then what is space-like emptiness? What is space-like emptiness? The non-existence of the target aimed at by the apprehension of signs in here in existence. Not even a particle of it. When that meditation has become successful, then, upon rising from this meditative equipoise, when viewing the dawning of objects, and that's just hanging there, there's a present active participle with which present active participles modify, But anyway, when viewing, it's not bad, I think. When viewing the dawning of objects, an illusory-like emptiness dawns, an illusion-like emptiness. I tried to change all of these, and the illusion-like is what we decided read illusion, and the my Microsoft Word refused to change them. I couldn't find out why. Illusion-like emptiness dawns subsequent to meditative equipoise. So, due to what was done up in that first paragraph, then this is what happens. This is putting it into the context of what was talked about in the answer paragraph. This is putting it in the context of space-like meditative equipoise. Then when you come out of that, you don't have to stand up, you don't have to move your posture, you just pay attention to something other than space-like meditative equipoise, even your breath. In the context of meditative equipoise, now what is he doing? He's talking about analyzing a lot. When you're analyzing a lot, then and you develop strong ascertainment about the lack of inherent existence, when you generate that, then when you view appearances, when you've been doing a lot of analyzing and you get a strong sense of the lack of inherent existence, then when your mind turns to appearances, those appearances are going to dawn like illusions. It's the same thing in that context. When you're in deep meditation, this is how it works. When you're doing analysis, a whole lot of analysis, when you're analyzing a lot, it's going to be like this. And so he concludes, a separate way of delineating illusion-like emptiness does not exist. That's it. There's only one way. So then, with the hence paragraph, even when you're doing prostrations, circumambulation, and all those sorts of things, you should do them within analyzing. Analytical ascertainment. And if you do that, then engagement in then doing prostrations, doing circumambulation, doing offerings, helping out others, engaging in charity, attending to the flock, helping out somebody, giving advice, will be training in illusion-like appearance. You'll always be training in illusion-like appearance. Do those. From within this do those within being affected by the force of analytical ascertainment of emptiness. Do them within this training in illusion-like appearance. Keep it up all day long, as much as you can. I was so happy to get the tone of his remark. Te ngangne te da chao. Could be taken as you should do those from within this, or do those within this. They should can be translated either way. You should do those from within this. Do those from within this. So we should leave the last part for next time, where he says, in English, the last part either would be to describe how to seek that ascertainment in a way easy to understand. It's a really very nice conclusion. It would be let us describe or you know, but in English you keep having to put us or let me describe. You know, it really doesn't say that. You know, there's no me, there's no us, and it's just to describe. We keep having to put some agent, you know, into the me, I. What's up? Okay, see you around.